Okay, Gabby and I have just arrived at our gifting area, and it's definitely been hit. We've got the tarp over here on the ground, the harmonica's on the ground, the jar of jam is on the ground, several feet away, and the only dents in the top are getting a little bit rusty, so they're not new. Let's see how tight this is. Oh yeah, it's really tight. Okay. Yeah, it's really tight, considering that Sandy and I actually took the lid off of this a while back and broke the seal. And it should be really easy, and it's not. I can't budge it. So, yeah, apparently we have somebody out here who is turning the jars, the lids on the jars the wrong direction, because this seems to be a common problem we've been having. The bucket is no longer hanging off its hanger there. It's down here on the ground. We have all the pie stuff right here. Let's see. Yeah, little scuff on the bottom there. Nothing too bad. The lid. Yeah, little hole in the edge here, little dent. And there's a few sticky marks in there, but nothing that looks like fingerprints. And the tin. Wow. The tin still has lots of bits of pie in it. It's got a ding on the end here. And whatever was eating this only just recently finished it. Okay, so we got it set up again. Just put the jar, the harmonica, and the tarp back up here on the stump. And in the bucket, we have something new we're trying now. We've got our same old apple pie is in there, plus 4 little apples, plus instead of a jar of peanut butter, I'm using a block of cheese, all natural, no dyes, no preservatives, wrapped in wax paper, Tillamook cheese. And we're switching that out from the peanut butter because there have been a lot of peanut butter jars out here that just never have been found. Somewhere there's a large accumulation of them. And yeah, so we're just going to switch it out to another high protein food that we're going to offer. Some tasty cheese. And it's wrapped in wax paper. So there's not going to be anything toxic for the smaller creatures to chew on and possibly be harmed by. I have built just kind of a miniature little structure right here. It has 9 pieces in it, and I'm just going to leave it like this, and I'm going to watch it and see if anything changes. See if they add to it or rearrange it, anything like that. Just going to be kind of like a little message for them. You ready? All right, we're going. Let's go. You ready?
You go here.
Okay.
You got 5-6 minutes worth of stuff.
Okay. She sure is looking around, sniffing, being all serious. We're out here, sitting along the trail here at one of our favorite little spots, and Sam just had quite an experience here in the last couple days. She's going to tell us about what happened.
Yeah, this is a continuation of the other experience I just gave you in the other video of when I was just down the trail, and the experience of where I was up here at night, and the Sasquatch hooed at me, or the howling hool, however it goes. Woo! Kind of like that loud, too. I'm getting better at it, too.
You are getting good.
Getting better at that. After hearing it several times, and lots of times, I'm going to really perfect that one.
I'd like to hear that come back at us
yeah,
from the
that would
woods
be
right
pretty
now.
cool. But so I had that experience where I stood up to it and I didn't show any fear towards the Squatch basically doing that. And so continuation goes where I'm hanging out at the Natchez Tavern. I guess it's okay to mention.
Yeah,
Place.
that's fine.
You could always blank it up, but
Actually, I need to show the viewers the new mascot up at the Natchez too.
Oh, definitely. You could do that. Probably show a picture of there on this video or something like that. But I was sitting in what they had, the beer garden, and it was getting late night. It was already night, and I'm sitting there, and there's a lot of activity in the beer garden, people talking, and then all of a sudden, in between that, I hear that character said, "Woo!" and it's coming from the woods right behind the tavern. Nobody else is noticing it but me. I immediately excused myself and said, "I'm going to go." So I immediately took a beeline out to the woods behind there where it's nice and dark, and immediately was able to see some eye shine. A couple of pairs.
Did you hear that? Is that our woodpecker?
I don't know, but that's the same kind of sound we heard before.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll have an experience during the interview. That's pretty cool.
Okay. It's gone quiet again now, so Sam's gonna finish her story, telling us. Okay, so I think let's pick up where you were went out to behind the beer garden and saw the eye shine.
Okay, so we were talking about the eye shine, really well defined. A couple of pairs of up above the ground, about 6 to 7 feet, down along the level area in one direction, and as the part that starts to drop over the hill, it looked like something just peeking over the bottom of the drop
up
off.
over the bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you see a set of eyes down there just kind of like crawling, peeking over the ridge. Just take a look.
Okay.
And they're at an advantage because they can see at night and we can't. So it's like the only reason I'm staring at them would because their eyes do appear at night.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we call them eye shine. So anyway, I left off that and just went back to the tavern. Took care of things and then went home. But then 2 nights later.
And that would have been last night.
That's last night. I was also at the tavern, but I had to go down and get something at the cabin, which I don't live very far from the tavern. And I'll mention this part because it's kind of a coincidence, a very eerie premonition I had where but I just for some reason felt, I just kind of had this vision in my head as I was driving back to the cabin that there 2 or 3 Sasquatches were walking around in my yard. Just walking around, and I was going to pull up and see them and they'll take off.
So this was just something that was in your head you were thinking about.
Just thinking, just off the top of my head, just like, don't ask me why I was feeling that way. Now the birds are acting up. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I get to the cabin. Of course, there's no Sasquatches in the yard, obviously.
Bummer.
And, so I got out of the car and I went into the cabin to get my whatever I was getting to go back to the tavern. And just as soon as I opened the door and went outside, I didn't even have a chance to lock it. All of a sudden, right in front of me was the loudest howl
Wow.
that I've ever heard in my life. Right in front of me.
How far away from you?
Well, from what I could tell, because I'm looking and I'm not seeing anything because it starts to get dark from my porch light. But it came from the garden area that's right behind my house of the next door neighbor. And from the sound of it, he would have just had to have been standing there. So we're only talking, realistically, I'm going to say from my porch to where that garden is, can't be any more than about 120 feet.
Wow.
At the most. It's just up kind of like into a creek thing and up on that. But close enough where it was just not a bird. it had the depth and volume that literally made me jump out of my shoes almost 2 feet. I mean, it startled me. When I heard that, it was like, it's almost like I was out on their turf here, and it just kind of came to me. It's like they got my number and they wanted to just play a trick on me and just startle me by me walking out of my place. And how you like them apples?
Yeah.
we'll just shake you up a little bit. And if you're going to be out in the woods at night, we'll just come to your place. And I stood there, and I didn't hoo back at them or anything this time. I just acted dumb and just say, "Who is that? Who is it out there?" You know, just act like it was another human or something that was talking to me. And didn't acknowledge it. And then he went, "Who again?" And I'll do that imitation. This is the volume. Woo! This is the volume.
Wow, that really echoes out here.
Well, it echoes in this little part. It certainly carried pretty good down there near the cabin. And so he did that second time. And then when I finally let out my own personal version of that, then that's when he decided you could hear him do it once up on the hill. He was heading away from me. And obviously, this is where you get up to the highway and then across into the woods. And it was almost like he was going to stand there until I acknowledge him by me hooing back at him. And
it was a game.
It was a game.
Cool.
And I usually like going by my gut feeling and instincts about this sort of thing, because I'll tell you what, it's just on my channel, for instance, and I say this, it's just, if I have a gut feeling that I need to be taking a picture or pulling the recorder out or something, it's usually for good reason. Because I think the Sasquatches actually do play upon a lot of that intuitiveness that people have. That the people that are more intuitive tend to have more experiences with the Sasquatches.
I think you're right.
You know, and I've been more intuitive over the past couple of 3 years. So I'm trying to develop more of that. And I think that's the connection to getting them to come closer to us.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the experience, and I'm so excited about it.
Okay, so I'm here in front of the Natchez Tavern, and this is the new mascot I wanted to tell you about. He's a big boy, isn't he? So anyway, here's the beer garden that Sam was referring to, and there's the forest behind it.